built those teams. Oh, I forgot to button up here.
We're ready? Okay, all right.
Give me 1 second.
Hold on, let me, yeah.
Is this tie on straight?
Yeah. Just make sure it's pulled over a little bit. Okay.
This is as good as we get right here. This is it. This is all we got.
What's the main camera?
This is the main camera, and then Omar, you have your camera over there as always. But really, that's just like we try to angle it so when you're talking to Dave Hyde, it just looks natural.
Okay, cool.
Wait, Omar gets his own camera? I didn't know that.
His name's on the title card. I know.
He gets
Now you're big time?
he gets the show title and the main camera.
In the studio, you get your own camera now.
Okay,
I know. I'll count y'all in. Y'all are all set?
All right.
All right, here we go. All right, I'll let you do that. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Here we are, South Florida. It's just you and your NFL franchise, which is in the playoff hunt, Dave Hyde. The Miami Dolphins are 5-5. They're one of 5 teams, Dave, 5 teams that are 5-5, right in the mix, duking it out for that AFC playoff wildcard spot.
The final one. Final spot.
Yeah, the final spot. And hey, I mean, technically they can still be in the mix for the AFC East Championship. You buying that? Not the way this Dolphins team is playing, but I will say this. The Dolphins are right there with the Baltimore Ravens, which are playing without Joe Flacco. I know your man did.
Won a game for him.
Your quarterback won
Lamar
a game.
Jackson.
Yeah. Cincinnati Bengals, which are playing without A.J. Green. The Indianapolis Colts, which are the Dolphins face on Sunday in what I feel is an elimination game. It's a little early, but
No, you're right. I agree completely with you.
feels like an elimination game. And the Tennessee Titans, which the Dolphins have already beaten, so they got the tiebreaker on that one. All it takes, in my opinion, is for Miami Dolphins to get to 9-7, and depending on who's in the equation.
Well, depending on Sunday too, because if they don't have the tiebreaker over Cincinnati. They don't. I can't even. I don't believe this. I don't believe. I'm not a believer.
You're not buying it.
Let me
Okay.
say. Here's my problem: is that they are in the. They're minus 58 point differential, which is a starting point of okay, how good are they? And the other point is they're in the lower third, and often far below that, in major statistical categories. So they're winning close games, mark of a good team, but they're just getting blown out too, especially on the road by teams that can score points, Green Bay, New England, even Cincinnati at the end. So they got to really make me a believer this Sunday.
You're watching X's and Omar. I am Omar Kelly. This is Dave Hyde. We are here at Gulfstream Park and in a fine establishment.
We've upgraded, Omar.
We've upgraded. We're at Yard House here at Gulfstream Park. Always a good establishment to come get a drink, watch a game, and I love their craft beers, by the way. So you're not a big believer that this is a Dolphins playoff team that you're looking at,
No.
even with the return of Tannehill time. Are you buying Tannehill time?
I'm trying not to laugh at you. not Tannehill time, okay?
It's Tannehill time.
Look, under Ryan Tannehill, they scored 19.8 points in 5 games. Under Brock Osweiler, they scored 20 points. Now, it wasn't all the offense, as
Debbie
we
Downer.
know.
Debbie
As
Downer.
I know. I wish I could. It's Thanksgiving. Can I find something to give thankful for? Minka Fitzpatrick, I'm thankful for. Cameron Wake, I'm thankful for. I could go down the list of
Cameron
things.
Wake, they're the second worst rushing team in the
36. Still doing it at age 36. That's admirable, okay?
You give old guys, he gives old guys hope.
I'm one of the old guys.
I'm getting there. You're listening, you're watching X's and Omar, and this show is based on your questions, and you guys did a phenomenal job in asking questions this week. Our first one comes from Richard Leonard. What's your opinion on whether or not the Dolphins make the playoffs, Dave?
God, I wish I could say yes.
Are you on the train or are you off the train?
I'm off watching it, waving to it, and wishing it well. I agree with you. This is an elimination game for the Dolphins. They win this. They have a tiebreaker over the Colts. They have a tiebreaker over the Titans. That's a good little wave to. And this is the toughest game to me from here on because
Patriots?
Patriots at home. The Dolphins have shown they play
Okay,
them well.
that's fair.
On the road, the Dolphins have been an awful team this year.
7-15 under Adam Gase.
And
7-16.
And they have a tough time matching points. This is a Colts team has scored at least 34 points the last 4 games. The Dolphins cannot let it get up to that point. They don't have the firepower to go chase the Colts.
I agree with you. I'm not buying this team because I just don't see the talent because of all the injuries. And even with the return of Ryan,
because of all the injuries?
well, I saw the talent before the injuries.
Okay.
I would say you're looking at a different team with Albert Wilson. You're looking at a different team with William Hayes. You're looking at a different team. Josh Sitton's there. You're looking at a different team.
Okay.
Those 3 individuals, I'm not even going to throw Daniel Kilgore in. Those 3 individuals, you're looking at a different team because it allows you to have an identity. Now, it's Tannehill time, and these are an important 6 games, and I need to see this team be competitive. I need to see a 3-3 finish for me to even buy into.
They play the Bills twice.
3-3 finish, Dave. 3-3 finish. Our next question comes from Dougie Do Right, who asks, the wild card race is so close. Will an 8-8 team make it into the playoffs this year?
I don't think so because there's so many teams at 5-5. You'd think one of them stays hot. The Colts are hot right now. Do they stay hot? Are they that developed and mature as a team? Andrew Luck is back to being the Andrew Luck of a couple years ago before his injury.
Yeah, 2016.
And look, that's the difference maker in the playoff hunt to me.
Our next question comes from Mike Brown, who asks a very detailed question here, Dave, and I'm dying to hear your answer. Am I the only one who thinks it's asinine to have Adam Gase on the hot seat? Outside of the questionable quarterback handling, he has a depleted roster at 5-5, which I think is incredible.
Look, here's my take on this. I need answers on what's your plan at quarterback.
Okay.
Okay, it's not a straightforward.
And if I tell you my plan at quarterback is Ryan Tannehill?
You're gone. You're gone because look, 3 years in, and Tannehill.
7 years in.
I'm saying with this regime.
Yes.
They bought him from the start. They married him even when he blew out his knee. Even if he was mediocre of the previous, and I bought into. I thought, look, he's good enough if they build talent around him. Then he blew out his knee. Now he's injured. 2 years blew out knee. Injured shoulder. If they still say he's our guy, we got problems.
Here's my thought process on that question, and I'll get into the Tannehill part of it later. Adam Gase has, he won't acknowledge it, but he's probably made some bad decisions when it comes to quarterback. Going with Osweiler and David Fales as opposed to investing and probably taking a quarterback early in the draft. I know you had other needs, but it's not like Mike Gesicki's really contributing. Let's be real about it. And you have not developed Tannehill to the point that he is a top 15 upper echelon quarterback. And that's what you were brought here to do. It hasn't gotten done. But we cannot ignore the fact that his team, without a starting quarterback for 25 games, is 21-21.
Okay, all right. So, Omar, they play in the AFC. So they beat the Jets twice.
Okay.
They beat the Raiders once. Those are 2 teams going to be picking maybe top.
Don't.
Let's go to this. What does he do great? And I'm not on him. I'm not saying get rid. What does he do great?
I think I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound strange. Just hear me out. I think he manages personalities well, even though he's jettisoned a lot of personalities.
A lot of personalities.
Oh, not as much as Joe Philbin. Come on. It's sometimes marriages don't work. They're just not meant to work. It isn't going to work. Sometimes it wasn't about the personality. It was about the money and the contract. And Ndamukong Suh, that wasn't talent. That was personality. And Ndamukong Suh was a mercenary. He cared about.
I have no problem with getting rid of him. Okay?
Jarvis Landry, that was
no problem
money.
with getting rid of him.
Mike Pouncey, that was money. So Jay Ajayi, personality.
Personality.
Jordan Phillips, damn sure personality. So I'm sorry, but I don't want people who I view as cancerous elements in my locker room. So sometimes it's okay.
And sometimes you have to work with them. I'll go beyond that though. Okay, getting a head coach, the first thing they do when they interview is who's your staff?
Okay.
How's his staff working out?
It's okay, and he's overhauled it. It's okay. It's not good.
You had the offensive coordinator in the video gate last year, right?
Okay.
You had questions. I really don't understand the whole Rashad Jones, Matt Burke, et cetera, et cetera.
They got to play nice.
That was amateur hour in this franchise,
It
okay?
was.
You had an agent calling him incompetent, which to me, that is ridiculous. You don't let any agent walk over you like that. And so,
Even if you acknowledge a week later that you've misused Devontae Parker?
so why allow it to that point? Why do you misuse Devontae? And look, Devontae Parker had one good game. So let's
this
not.
season, yeah.
I'm not taking his side in this, okay?
It's a whole. Here's my thing. I know that Adam Gase will be a good NFL head coach. I don't know if it's going to be now. I don't know if it's going to be in 5 years. I do believe that. But I will say this. The two things that he was hired to do, which was to develop a quarterback and to produce a top 16 offense, he has not done.
I love Adam Gase's attitude. I love his personality. But these are the big leagues.
This is a result.
These are the big leagues. You get judged on how you do it. And I don't know I know Steve Ross likes them. I don't know where this goes. This isn't the discussion with 5 games left. We'll revisit this.
Absolutely.
Okay, Omar, let's look at our next question. You're right. Let's reset this. You're watching X's and Omers, brought to you by Gulfstream Park, which is home of world-class thoroughbred racing, dining, shopping, and home of the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. This week brought about the first practice from Ryan Tannehill, has been sidelined for 25 games, the last 3 seasons by injuries, and 5 games this year with a capsule injury to his shoulder. Tannehill threw to his teammates for the first time in 5 weeks on Tuesday. What do you see on Sunday, Omar?
Well, watching his first practice, I've covered Tannehill since 2012. I know what he looks like. I know what his arm looks like. I would say his arm is probably at 90%. Maybe by the end of the week it's at 80%, 85%. It's still a tight spiral. It's not getting there as quick as it usually does. He admits that I will have pain, and I will probably have pain for the rest of the season. As long as it doesn't wear down, I think he'll be fine. Is he Tannehill that we knew at the beginning of the season? No. That Tannehill had basically a 16-month layoff from throwing a football. The arm was good. It was a cannon. But what I will say, by watching him practice, his passes look better than Brock Osweiler. And that's all that matters. Do the passes look better than Brock Osweiler, who is your other option? If an 85% Ryan Tannehill is better than Brock Osweiler, we're going with 85% Ryan Tannehill. And that's absolutely what I saw.
They haven't scored a touchdown in 9 quarters. You understand that. Okay. Will he be mobile? That's the other question. That's his game?
Absolutely. If you're not looking at the athletic play action, running around, rolling out Ryan Tannehill, what are we doing? Because that's the only Tannehill I find acceptable in the NFL. That's the only Tannehill that gives your team a chance to win. And if you don't have that Tannehill, you're wasting time.
All right. Omar, let's go. Troy wants to know, how is David Fales not getting another look at running the show?
Very simple solution. David Fales did not outperform Brock Osweiler in the exhibition season. Brock Osweiler sealed it with his stellar game in the final game. And David Fales does not have NFL experience where Brock Osweiler does. He's a competent he's a competent backup where David Fales hasn't even proven he's a competent backup.
Why is he on the roster?
He's on the roster because you need a third quarterback to help the defense get prepared for the opponent. And I personally believe the better that quarterback, the better your defense performs.
Okay. Jose Carlos asks, do you think Le'Veon Bell will get the supposed $45 million guaranteed he seeks and a $17 million a year salary?
Le'Veon Bell is a very good name. And the reason I say he's a very good name is because I do believe that he is a possibility for the Miami Dolphins moving forward. Who likes to spend money on the big names? Let me hear it, Dave.
I don't
Who likes to spend money on the big names,
Which
Dave?
one are you, Tannenbaum or Steve Ross?
Steve Ross. Steve Ross likes the marquee signing. He's scared to spend money. And I believe that Le'Veon Bell will be blackballed. All it takes is one owner.
Will be blackballed? He won't be signed by anybody.
No. I believe that collusion has taken place, and this deal that Le'Veon Bell has basically turned his nose up at the franchise tag, which is unheard of in the NFL.
Right.
They will want to show we don't want any more of our star players doing that. Here we are going to suppress the market. And You're not going to see Le'Veon Bell get the Todd Gurley deal, 5 years, $57 million, guarantee of $22 million. You're not going to see, I think you'll see Le'Veon Bell approach maybe the David Johnson, $39 million over 4 years, 24.7 guaranteed. But I don't think you're going to see a record-setting deal.
Here's my concerns with Le'Veon Bell. Beyond the mercenary, I have no problem with the mercenary. Whatever business decision he makes, that's on him. My concerns are James Conner has gone into Pittsburgh and shown he's a very good back, and that makes you say you can find good backs if you're smart, okay? And maybe it wasn't all Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh. Maybe it was that offensive line, that quarterback, that
James
system
Conner would have
too.
been drafted higher if he didn't have cancer.
Okay, the other thing is Le'Veon Bell's playground. Where is it? In Miami. Everything he put out, he's doing this in Miami, he's doing that in Miami. Look,
Miami's my playground. Miami's your playground.
We
still do our jobs, Dave.
We're not needing 7% body fat to do our jobs. Okay.
Hey, Tootsie's cooked some clean food, Dave. It's very delicious.
And my concern is, look, this is a tough enough environment. Some cities are tough enough. This is a tough enough one. And you don't want him falling prey to that playground status that he's got here.
He got himself in great condition down here in South Florida when he was a draft prospect. I saw him out at Bomberito Performance.
He's not that guy anymore, Omar.
Yeah, he's a little richer. Our next question comes from Luke Fader, one of my favorite guys, because he always nails the questions. This week he's got 2. So be prepared for the next one.
He's really good. Okay.
Yeah, he's really good. Given the current roster, how would you fix the Dolphins this offseason?
Well, this gets to the central issue to me of is the phrasing of the question is always, every year, we know they need a quarterback. I mean, whether it's a guy to challenge Tannehill or a guy to replace him, we can debate that at another point, but they need a quarterback. But why are they constantly in desperate straits to get a quarterback? Because the previous 3 years, they never took one. They never invested in one. You need to get one when you don't need them. You need to get them when you say, we're going to develop them in our system and let them mature and ripen like good wine. So, we can go a million places of where to go, as we do every offseason, but to me, 60% of the Dolphins' problems, maybe 70 of a GM's job, get the quarterback situation right.
I just don't know that this is the year to get the quarterback situation.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You always you're in desperate straits. We need it this year. Well, you needed the last 3 years.
Yeah, you should have done it just like you said when you didn't absolutely need it. Now you're in a position where you absolutely need it, and it really ain't that great of an option. I've been talking to a league official who told me, and he was very candid with me. He's like, I highly doubt the Dolphins are going to release Ryan Tannehill, 1, because he has value, and 2, because if you released him, he's going to be at the top of the market competing with Teddy Bridgewater for the top quarterback spot. So unless you're swapping out Teddy Bridgewater for Ryan Tannehill and you're comfortable with that, you're dumping one adequate quarterback for another adequate quarterback when Ryan Tannehill still has value. But let's answer the question that Luke Fader asked. To me, time to rebuild. No more repurposing, no more refurnishing. You can have as much as $70 million in cap space this offseason by making some tough decisions with Devontae Parker, Robert Quinn.
Easy decision.
Trading Rashad Jones. Tannehill, I don't even know. And a lot of these decisions are easy for me because just like you said last year, we're not going anywhere with these guys. Why would we pay them these high salaries? You're not going anywhere with these guys. But the problem is, how do you spend $70 million?
You know what? You got to get away from the idea of spending free agent money because
they're not that good at the drafting either, Dave.
That's the larger problem. Teams have been so sophisticated on who to put out on the market and why they're putting them out on the market.
Yeah.
You're not buying good guys most of the time. Okay, they got Albert Wilson, very good pickup.
Very good.
Did they really get anybody else who moves the needle? They spent a lot of money on Josh Sitton because he's injured. They
falls into the 30-year-old category you always warn about.
So that's my concern is you got to solve this franchise, you got to get somebody or trust these guys, they're going to get the drafts right.
Our next question comes from Zorn, who's got a good one. Does Steve Ross keep Adam Gase next year if Gase decides that he wants to keep Tannehill next year?
I say no, and I'll say it now. Now, I'm not getting in the question, do they right now, of Gase and Tannenbaum and what happens there, but if you're going to wed yourself for year 4 of this regime and year 8 overall, I got that 8-year itch, Omar. I'm moving on. Now, do you, to your point, do you keep Tannehill? Possibly. But you're definitely bringing in who you think, if you have a chance of either, you're doing one of two things. You're getting the future now, or you're looking at the next draft class, and I hate to say this, that's setting up a lot better, and you're saying, we are going to maneuver, either getting chips, making ourselves flexible that we can trade up and get the player we need.
I don't fall in love with 2020's draft class because it's a dangerous proposition. Tui might tear his ACL, and then what?
Right.
We're referring to the Alabama quarterback. Here's what I do if I'm Steve Ross. One, I trust Adam Gase. I believe in Adam Gase. I'm going to make excuses for Adam Gase, which he's doing because of all these injuries. And I cover the team. There ain't much Adam Gase is taking to the field against Green Bay. Not much he's taking to the field against the Indianapolis Colts.
Let's look at this then. Why did they invest in 30-year-old players with injury histories?
That's on the executive.
It's on all of them.
It's on all of them.
Okay, Adam Gase has more say in personnel.
But you know why Steve Ross has all of them in their specific, so he can know who to blame with what. Management of the team is on Mike Tannenbaum. Management of the draft is on Chris Greer. Management of the execution and playing and coaching is on Adam Gase.
What about the contracts?
Contracts is on Tannenbaum.
No. Gase has had an ample say on contracts. In fact,
final say? Who has final say?
A year ago it was Gase. He gave Rashad Jones his contract. He gave Kiko Alonso.
Kiko Alonso's Tannenbaum.
So
now, here's the thing: they have to be in unison.
Right.
Now,
are they in unison?
They're never in unison. They have to be in unison. I saw them sitting together for lunch the other day, but are they really in unison? You never know. You know when struggles arise, when adversity arises, and you start to hear people. It's not me.
I'm gonna have some water.
Yeah, but you never know with these things. Now, I'm saying, if I'm Steve Ross, I'm saying, Adam, you're safe. You need to win 10 games in 2018 and 2019 to survive. And I'm mandating that you select a quarterback early. I don't care what you do with Ryan Tannehill, but you get a quarterback early. You draft one early. Find one you like, make it work, because I want to see you develop a quarterback.
See, but that, again, is the problem with this franchise. They're desperate for a quarterback now. In a draft, as you say, it's probably not there.
When Goff and Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott were in the draft, I forget the year, 3 years ago, everybody said, oh, it's a horrible draft for quarterbacks.
All right, well, then you're saying there are quarterbacks there.
There's going to be a Jim. There's going to be a Jimmy Garoppolo. There's going to be a Joe Flacco.
Here's the question.
There's going to be a Patrick Mahomes.
Do you trust?
There's going to be.
Do you trust the Dolphins can find that quarterback?
There's going to be one of those quarterbacks.
Next question.
All right, next question. The Colts are one of the hottest teams in the NFL going right now. They're riding a 4-game winning streak. Andrew Luck is dealing, Dave. 101.8 quarterback rating. He's showing the world that he's back from a shoulder injury, saying, Ryan Tannehill, come get me. Do you believe that the Dolphins are seeing the Colts at the wrong time?
Oh, absolutely. You wanted to see the Colts in game week in September, and preferably on your home field where it's a furnace and they would wilt. But you're going into Indianapolis. They've won 4 in a row. They're scoring a lot of points, which to me, the Dolphins are scoring 20 points a game. And so if Andrew Luck has an Andrew Luck game where he's scoring in the 30s, it looks like the day's finished.
I hate when you put out that stat because special teams have scored twice.
I know. You're saying it's an inflated number.
It's an inflated number. It's really like 17.8. But yes.
That'd be nice. It's Thanksgiving. There's a generosity of spirit around here.
It ain't Christmas Day. We're not giving them those 21 points they didn't earn. The offense is worse than what their average is.
But to get to the question, yes, with an asterisk, you don't see many mediocre teams win 5 games in a row in the NFL, okay? And the question is, can the Colts have an off day on the day you need them to have an off day right now?
At home.
At home.
I think there's a huge disparity between what teams are doing at home and what teams are doing on the road. Our next question comes from Luke Fader. I told you
You told me.
I told you he had a back-to-back. Who do you trust to be the deep safety to prevent big plays from Andrew Luck? T.Y. Hilton's going to be back there.
Let me say this. The secondary, to me, in general, isn't the problem this year. Okay, we can go specific. We can go to Houston game. It was a problem that game.
They've only got 2 cornerbacks, though, Dave.
I know. But in general, I'm saying, look, they can play Minka Fitzpatrick at cornerback. He's showing he's fine there. He can play anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Pass rush to me is a problem.
Okay.
And
that's
at a week where you're going, you talk about remaking a franchise on the run. Now the Colts got Andrew Luck back. Changes everything. But they also have an offensive line that was maybe the worst in football a year ago, and it might be the best right now. It hasn't given up a sack in 5 games. And this is, I'm throwing you a slow pitch softball, Omar. They drafted Quentin Nelson at guard. They redid their offensive line. Go ahead, you take it from here.
Listen, I preach all the time. Guards matter. I know.
And I say the other words. You got me on this one.
Listen, he's phenomenal. He's a work of art. Brian Bolaga does a weekly breakdown of his play, and man, it's a must-see for trench play guys like me. I mean, he's sitting on guys after he metro rails them or pancakes them, whatever you want to call it. And it's a thing of beauty, Dave. When you can keep your quarterback clean, think about this. Why has Ryan Tannehill missed 25 games the last 3 years?
He's taken a lot of hits.
Calais Campbell and Carlos Dunlap. One hit took out his knee, another hit took out his shoulder. You need to keep Ryan Tannehill clean. You need to protect him. That means you need to put resources in your line. Look at where your line is now.
Look where it's been. It's a constant state. But the Colts showed you with one great draft pick, a high draft pick, probably a very high pick for a guard, but he's showing how you can remake that line. Okay, Omar, let me ask. Ron asks, what has to happen for the Dolphins to have a chance to beat the Colts on Sunday? Ryan Tannehill must play, or the defense has to play lights out?
This is really on Ryan Tannehill. He's got to show that I am a starting quarterback in the NFL still with this capsule injury, despite this limited talent base that I have around me, despite the fact that Leonte Carew is going to have to be contributing, despite the fact that Mike Gesicki isn't really ready to be a factor, despite Kenyon Drake having a shoulder issue. Ryan Tannehill has to and probably has never elevated the level of talent of the players around him. And it's time I see that. I will acknowledge that. I'm not saying he's got to win, but that game can't be a blowout. I can't see the result being
it can't be New England. It can't be New England when they went up there 3-0 and they didn't score a touchdown. I agree.
It can't be that. I know it's going to be tough for you to pull off a victory, but you can't go up there and lay in a goose egg. I need to at least see the Cincinnati Bengals performance before you lost Laramie Tunsil and it was an Olay pass rush experience for Ryan Tannehill. I want you to see you competitive. I want you to bring out the best in Devontae Parker. I want you to bring out the best in Kenny Stills, who's been invisible because they don't have the deep play, which is understandable because Brock can't throw it.
My quick answer points. To be competitive with the Colts, you're going to need to score points. And they're not going to probably get them on special teams with Jakeem Grant out. He was their secret weapon there some games. Not going to get it with secret plays because Albert Wilson's not there, and Danny Amendola has already thrown his pass this year. Not going to get it with
red zone execution. They're the worst in the NFL when it comes to the red zone. The rest of the league is averaging 58.9%, turning red zone opportunities into touchdowns. The Dolphins are at 40.
Development of talent. Mike Gesicki has not
developed.
Done anything. Okay. Keen wants to know, how are we going to get our pass rush going against a team that, as we just said, has allowed 5 sacks in 5 games?
It's called prayer, Dave. Prayer. Pray that Cameron Wake's knees are healthy and he feels fresh, and that he can bring down Andrew Luck, who's a very hard quarterback to sack. He's elusive, he's physical, he's tough to take down. Pray that Robert Quinn realizes, I'm about to be cut, and I need to put together a good resume of tape so maybe I can get half of what I'm projected to make this,
Here's what I'd say. They have to make one of 2 decisions. Either we're going to bring the house, we're gonna blitz Tannehill because your pass rush isn't doing it.
Disagree.
Or
it hasn't been doing it.
Or you got to do what, say, Belichick did to the Giants famously in the Super Bowl, or the Bills, excuse me, where you played 9 defensive backs. Not play 9, but you're going to have to come up with some scheme that we haven't seen this year. Because otherwise, if you just play base defense or nickel, Andrew Luck, if he has a game he's had any of the past 4 weeks, is going to cut you apart.
Eric Cotton has a valid question that's very clearly inspired by the Rams and Chiefs shootout on Monday night, which, Dave, was probably the best game I've seen in my lifetime.
Great. 51. I can't believe you're saying a 53-51 game you loved.
I mean, but there were big defense plays too.
That's the thing. There was the best player on the field was Aaron Donald, the defensive player. So I'm glad you've come over to the dark side, Omar.
Is the concept of defense dead in today's NFL? Are turnovers the only way to measure the modern day defense?
Well, that's a great question. And this is the modern NFL right now. You see, if to compete for a title, and there's only 6-8 teams competing right now. We can talk about this last playoff spot and all. You got to bend in any way the day goes, and some days that's going to mean you got to score 40 to 50 points. You got to be able to do that. Not that all games are going to do that, but yes, offense is winning games, and offense. You saw Sean McVay. He was passing in the last couple minutes when they're up because he wanted to get first downs and not give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. That's the way to play defense in the NFL today, is keep pressing on offense.
Those are 2 examples of a franchise that got it right 2 different ways, and the Dolphins had every opportunity to be those 2 franchises and failed at it. And it's, they traded up. The Rams, they traded up to go get Goff. The Kansas City Chiefs, they traded up to go get Patrick Mahomes. The Rams, super aggressive in the offseason in terms of rebuilding their roster. The Kansas City Chiefs, I don't think there's a team better coached than an Andy Reid team.
And that linebacker, I'm drawing a blank on his name here on live internet TV, who had the strip sack, picked up the strip sack for a touchdown, interception for a touchdown, the Rams, undrafted. He's the type of guy, you find him, it's gold, because you get the quarterback, now you're filling in with impact players elsewhere.
Oh boy, but it's tough to watch something like that, and then Sunday.
Omar, that tells me, and I was thinking this watching this game, the Dolphins are getting further and further away from contending, not closer. When you see what teams are doing out there, and it's like you got to text your friends or call and say, man, do you see this? And you got the Chiefs, you got the Rams, you got the Saints, you got the Patriots.
Both of those teams would smoke Miami. It wouldn't even be close.
Yeah, so look at Tennessee made the playoffs last year. They cleaned everybody out because they said, we're not going anywhere. Even if the Dolphins make the playoffs, what does that mean? It means they had a nice stretch run. I'm not dismissing that.
I mean that they can coach. If they can finish strong and let's say go 4-2 in this stretch of games with high caliber opponents like the Colts, like the New England, like Minnesota, there are high caliber opponents there. Don't just think they're sitting there layups. You win 4 of 2. That's a real good coaching job that you've done, especially considering what you're working with.
Okay, if they go 2-4, then what?
Says that it wasn't.
It says they had Buffalo twice on the schedule.
Says it wasn't a very good coaching
I'm
job.
trying to have some generosity here. It is Thanksgiving, Omar, right?
Yeah.
What are we thankful for here?
I think we're facing a 7-9 season. What am
Yeah,
I
me
thankful
too.
for if I'm a Dolphins fan? I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to watch Frank Gore in a Miami jersey. I'm thankful that my first round pick wasn't a waste in Minka Fitzpatrick. I'm thankful that Laremy Tunsil has turned himself into a franchise left tackle. I'm thankful that Xavier Howard has not only the talent to shadow an elite cornerback, but people don't realize this. By doing so, he's lightening the load for the rest of his teammates, allowing Minka Fitzpatrick to have the highest passer rating in the NFL. You know, I'm thankful that a rookie kicker, Jason Saunders, who basically was crap in college, has been so consistent and successful here in the NFL. And I'm thankful.
Kiko Alonso, throw him in there. Give him some props.
Oh, man. Kiko Alonso's been phenomenal this season. And for a Dolphins franchise, you got to give him his respect. He's the second best linebacker in the NFL.
See, I'd say I'm thankful for, and it gives me hope, 2016 draft, Laremy Tunsil, Xavier Howard, Kenyon Drake, Jakeem Grant. There's are four guys who can, now you got to put those back-to-back-to-back drafts is the problem, but that's what I'd be thankful for.
Yeah, you didn't mention Charles Harris in there. Prediction time, Dave. Prediction time. I'm going to go with Indianapolis Colts 24. I'm going to be generous and say the Dolphins can score 20 points.
See, I go 37-21.
Wow.
And I'll be generous. The Dolphins can score
21 points. It's sad when you've got to, you're saying 21 points is a generous scoring total for the Dolphins.
It is, I'm trying to keep, if they can get through this game, and I'm with you, be competitive, okay? Be competitive. Maybe pull it out, but be competitive.
Be competitive.
Then you could play Buffalo at home the next game. You're going to be 6-6, and you just need to win, get on a little roll here at the end of the season. And playing the playoffs, as dismissive as I have been at times, it means something. All right, it doesn't mean you're contending, but it's a nice reward for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a pleasure to be here with you, Dave. Always X's and Omars at noon on Wednesday. Looking forward to it, and thanks for joining us.